Today we're going to be talking about how vulnerable two-factor authentication can really be. My name is Steve, this is TQA Weekly, and two-factor authentication, which is 2FA for short, is considered an extra layer of security that is used to secure your online and local accounts. In fact, if whatever computer, online account, or app does not offer two-factor authentication, most people will think it's insecure because it doesn't offer that extra layer of security. I mean, it does come from the principle of having access to something that you know and something that you have access to, which would be your smart device in most cases. Because of this, most people are now used to the idea of using two-factor authentication. And having two-factor authentication enabled does make you a little bit more secure, but at the same time, it really does depend on what's going on. So we're going to be looking at two aspects that can make 2FA, two-factor authentication, vulnerable, starting with all of us, the end user. Let's start off with your phone screen. Do you have message previews on? Because remember, you can get your unique token sent by text message or by email. If you have message previews on, then they can just see it on the screen and never have to unlock your device. And that means they don't need to know what your PIN code. To protect you from that, you need to turn off message previews. And that would make that just a little bit safer. But then there's also the potential of having it by a phone call. But if you don't need to unlock the device to answer the phone, it's just as bad as message preview. So you would also need to lock phone calls from ever being accessed by an unauthorized person. But is your device secure? Are you using a strong PIN or password? Are you using something that's longer than 4-digit PIN or a longer password? Because if you're not, then anybody can get into your device. Is your device set up in a way where everything gets deleted after a certain amount of consecutive attempts? That could make your device weaker or safer. And, of course, is the application that you're using for your tokens also equipped with a password or PIN? Are you using a strong password or PIN to protect that application? Because if you can, you definitely should. The more steps you put between you and those unique tokens, and the stronger each of these security measures are, the better. So obviously, if you are not using strong PINs and passwords and making sure there's no message previews and making sure that only you can answer the phone, then of course, you're either going to be secure or insecure. That really does depend on you and what I just said. But then the entire weight of the world doesn't fall uniquely on the end user. You see, if you are given the choice between phone call, text, email, or an app, which are the most common, by the way, I would suggest the app. Why? Because phone calls, text messaging, and emails, unfortunately, are sent plain text. And this means that anybody can access them, and anyone around the world can listen or read them. In fact, emails and text messages and phone calls are intercepted passively by many servers online, and they can just pick up all the information if they were set up to do so. So a man-in-the-middle attack for those three types of technology is inherently possible, and therefore a big problem. In the case of email, you have the potential of using GPG or PGP security, but everything else is basically an issue because the SS7, which is that international network for cell phones, is insecure by its own means. So those types of communication are inherently insecure. You definitely want to use an app, and you definitely want an app that has its password set up. So if you're using an app and the app has built-in security, you are more secure than every other possible option, because I'm sorry to say this, but governments don't like the idea of having encrypted phone calls, encrypted texts, and encrypted emails, because they can no longer collect and spy on everyone and their information. So now that you know that two-factor authentication can be secure, but definitely can be vulnerable, what are you going to do about it? Tell me down below in the comments or post it on my website. Like this episode if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, share with those who think can benefit from this, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions for topics, email me at ask@tqaweekly.com or go to my website, tqaweekly.com, where you can see the show notes on this episode, past others, find other ways of subscribing, and of course, use the contact form to email me directly. And if you want to see me play video games like Watch Dogs Legion, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/ZX1981, where I play every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And of course, you'll have all the information you need to know about down below on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and good day.